Hello, hello, my beautiful beloveds. Thank you so much for your presence. I'm so grateful that you are here. Today, we are going to continue on with our exploration of divining with color and really seeing what comes through the colors to support us on our sacred sexuality journey. This is the second video of this that I have done, that I'm creating. My guides have for some time told me to get some crayons, get some color, and start reading the messages in the color, what the intuitive messages that come through. It's like, you know, how you read tarot cards, right? You pull a card and you look at it, and what's the messages you're getting from that card, what's coming through. Colors have been an important part of my journey and my experience, especially when I'm doing energy healing. I'll just have a sense and a feeling of a color, and the color has like it's not like I see it. It's kind of weird. It's just it appears in there, but it's not like it's so hard to explain these things. But it's the feeling of the color, and within that feeling, there's messages, and there's wisdom, and there's insight, and it's not coming in words, but it's just kind of a knowing. And I know there's some, it's like it's not clairaudience or it's some sort of clair, I think. I'm not sure what, but it's just been an interesting experience for me. When that started happening, I was just like, well, wow, that's the trip. But it would start happening in when I was doing energy healing sessions. I just sense, feel, and experience a color and read what it has to say, or just know. I don't even have to read it. It just kind of comes with a knowing. So my guides have continuously, like for well over a year now, been telling me, like, get some colors to read, to, you know, intuit the messages from them. And I finally followed the advice, and I recently posted the first video of this, which was brand new. I just did it first time on camera for you to share with this beautiful community, because I love you so much, and I was excited to just not practice. Let's just see what happens, right? So you'll have to check that out if you haven't seen it already. So this is part 2 of that. I just put crayons in a bowl, and I'm just gonna pull out some colors. Last time I did 3, that felt right. And we're gonna see what messages come through in the colors, and each color has its own frequency, right? Like a rainbow, it's on this spectrum of frequency. So like X-rays and different things, a lot of colors we can't even see. We can only see, like, right, a small amount on this spectrum, and other different species, like different animals, can see different colors. So we're all kind of having a different experience, but all colors have a frequency. And so I guess maybe in that frequency there's wisdom, or I don't know. I think it's probably different for everybody. We all experience colors very differently, right? We each have like favorite colors, or colors that we gravitate more towards or are more comfortable wearing. I've always loved black. That's just kind of my thing, but I like all colors, really. I don't wear all colors because it doesn't appeal to me to wear them, but I love colors. So anyway, we're just gonna see what comes through. And again, this is always under this umbrella to support us on our sacred sexuality journey. So we'll see what the wisdom is for this week. I think I'll be doing this on a weekly basis, like I do the tarot card for the week, for some self-reflection. So, and I invite you to, like, just, you know, ground down, open to what messages and wisdom might be coming through for you when we connect with a color. Like, what is that color saying to you? Because what it's saying to me can be very different. Maybe you're getting your own hits. Maybe it's speaking to something going on in your world, in your experience, and you have your own insights, just like, oh, I think that's speaking to me, you know? So open and allow for that experience for yourself, and let's see what comes through, right? It's kind of an exciting new way to connect with wisdom, and it's just, I'm always excited about that, right? I use so many different tools to connect with the universe, to connect with my guides that my higher self speaks to me through, and it's fun, right? It's so much fun to play with this kind of stuff. That's why I did that video first, you know, I just tried it first, sharing it with you, because, like, let's just have fun and play with this. It doesn't have to be a big to-do, right? So we'll take a moment to take a few deep breaths. and really ground down, like breathing from, this is one of those where, especially when I'm recording, it's very easy for me to get up into my mind a little too much. So breathing down, breathing down, breathing down. My energy gets really like, whoo. So breathing down into our bodies. And I really like to connect with my pelvic region and bring down into that space, which is right where our sexual energy comes from. So breathing into that place of creativity, passion, but really grounded, rooted energy, rooting down, like from our root chakra. We can root down, down, down into the Mother Earth, feeling our stable, solid connection and foundation with the earth. And allowing our awareness to be down in that area and down in the earth, which helps pull our energy down from our mind that can just be like, whoo, you know. Grounding and centering. And we're going to open to receive any messages, insights, wisdom that's ready to come through to support us on our sacred sexuality journey and our spiritual path. Open to our spirit guides and helpers, open to our beautiful bodies sharing wisdom, open to Mother Earth, Father Sun, archangels, the planets, any high vibe frequencies that we connect with that support us on our journey, spirit animals, and these beautiful colors today. So let's just see. I've put them all in a bowl here. There's all my crayons. There was a box of 64, but I only put in half of that. So we got 32 crayons. So that's a lot of crayons, 64. So I'm just going to let my fingers tell me when it's time to pull a crayon. Asparagus. It's a beautiful green color. That's lovely. Asparagus. All right, what does this say? What is this speaking to me about? Well, it's kind of funny because there was another video I was going to create for a different series that I've been working on that's about nutrition. And since this is green and it has asparagus, and I just ate asparagus last night, I think that's a message saying, like, yeah, the importance of diet and nutrition on our sacred sexuality journey. And it is funny because I was just going to create a video about this, so I guess it's happening right now. And when I say diet, I don't mean like going on a diet. I just mean diet like what we consume, what we put into our bodies. So, you know, food, the chemistry, the frequency of food can drastically affect our experience with our sacred sexual energy, with our bodies, and on our spiritual path. If we're eating dense, heavy, processed foods, we're putting that into our bodies. And this isn't a judgment call. This is just really how it works, right? When we're eating more healthy, organic, high vibe foods, not so processed, a lot more veggies and organic. I know I just said that, organic. Produce and ethically sourced meat, if we're going to eat meat, less dairy, less grains, less heavy gluten-y foods, right? It's going to drastically change our frequency. And again, this isn't a judgment call. I'm not eating, you know, my being mostly vegan. I mostly follow a vegan plant-based diet. What the heck was I saying? Where did I lose it right there? It's just changed my frequency, right? I'm no longer heavy and dense and weighted down by these heavy, dense foods. You know, people eat like these big meals of like a lot of French fries and a lot of bread and, you know, potatoes and pasta, right? Pasta is a big one. And it just goes in there and just like, it just sits there and just like, ugh, and then we wonder why we feel sluggish and such. If we're eating lighter foods, we're eating salads or a nice healthy soup, you know, things that are easier for our system to digest and that we integrate better, that are good and healthy for us. it just changes our frequency. That's just all it is, right? Again, I think that's where I was going. My vegan. It's not a morality thing, right? It's not a. I mean, of course, I have a thing for the animals and such, and I don't really want to eat animals, but all that aside, it's really just about how I feel and how my body feels and how my energy feels, right? And this is going to be a very individual process for each one of us, an individual exploration of playing with it. And people get really addicted to certain foods. Our bodies get very addicted to foods. Our gut, right, the flora and the fauna get very addicted to, especially if we have candida or something, it wants a lot of sugar, right? That's how it feeds on. So, we are what we eat. If we're eating all of that, our body is addicted to it, and it's hard to shift those patterns for ourselves. But the more we can incorporate, remove some things from our diet and incorporate healthier choices, we're going to feel a shift in our energy. That changes us body, mind, and spirit. Our mind is going to clear up. Gluten and grains for me are very heavy and dense in my mind. I used to have a lot of mental health kind of stuff going on, and discovered it was the gluten. When I cut that out, my mind just cleared up so freaking much. I mean, who would have thought? But it's an inflammatory substance, so it was inflaming my brain, which was causing mental health things, right? And really unhealthy patterns going on, and thought patterns, and I would get very depressed and suicidal, right? And it was very food based, and corn was unbelievable. It would really make me suicidal. And when I started figuring this out and started emitting those things, omitting them from my diet, holy shit, my whole freaking life changed, and it was crazy. And I know that they've done this with children as well, like really people that are working with autism or ADHD. Changing the diet drastically changes the energy and the frequency. I mean, it's just really kind of that simple. So it doesn't mean it's always easy to make these changes, but play with it. This is how I guide people when I'm connecting with clients. Like, it doesn't have to be for the rest of your life. Try cutting gluten out for a month. See what happens. Just make it an experiment. Don't get attached to it. Just see what happens. The worst that happens is you've gone a month without gluten. If it doesn't shift your frequency on and you're not noticing any healthy benefits from it, go back to eating gluten. Big deal. Really just try it. Just try it. And for a lot of people, it's amazing the shift that can happen in their whole experience, just from or cutting out sugar or moving to a different type of sugar, right? The white processed sugar is really not good for us. So different types of sweetener, honey, agave, playing with different things that might work for you that are much healthier options. And we all know, when I'm speaking about this, there's things where you're just like, yeah, I really should maybe look at that, right? We have intuition. We intuitively know what is not supporting us, but trust that your whole energy and everything, your sleep, everything, thought patterns, mind can really, and connection with source, right? Connection with your heart can really drastically change when we look at diet and get into that and shift our nutrition. So that's what's coming through for green. Let's see, I wanted to keep these like relatively short little bursts. So maybe we'll just stick with that one color and what that sparked for us. So what is the green saying for you? And it's just funny that it's asparagus, and I had asparagus last night. So I was trying to open up to different messages. I'm like, that's where we just have to trust. What was the intuitive hit that immediately came through for me? I was just like, oh, it's asparagus, so I'm just diving right into asparagus and food. I'm like, well, but that's exactly the point. What comes through when you pick a color and it starts speaking to you? What are the messages that immediately come through? And that's what it was. So we don't question this. This is, again, we're learning to trust our intuition, trust the wisdom that's coming through, trust the messages, trust our own knowing. I could have questioned that and then tried to force something else, but it wouldn't have been what was coming through and what I just asked all of my guides for. I asked them for wisdom. There it was immediately. I just need to not question that, right? So if you find yourself doing that, and I know it's a journey and it's a process to really learn to trust our wisdom and our intuition and what's coming through for us, right? So, yeah. Anyway, but yeah, would love to hear in the comments what comes through for you with green. Asparagus. Yay. And yeah, look at that for yourself. Look at diet for yourself. And one last thing I'll say about that, around sacred sexuality, that's the whole point, right? How could I have forgotten that? Food, diet, nutrition, really big for erectile dysfunction, blood flow, right? Or just heavy, dense energy in the body, and really heavy, dense energy for both men and women in our sexual reproductive organs, Of course, again, frequency, health, right? If we're putting in toxic food into our body, it's going to affect all parts of our body, right? So I've coached men, like that's the first thing we look at, right? What are we eating? And that can drastically shift erectile dysfunction when we start opening up the blood flow. And again, no, I am not a physician. These are just things that have worked for me and I've seen work for other people, and just kind of personal experience that I'm sharing about, right? So I am not a medical person, and I'm not offering any medical advice. It's just what I've seen happen for people. Big shifts in the sexual energy when the diet changes and when nutrition changes. Again, it's just all about opening things up and shifting the frequency. And the more we align all aspects with ourselves with higher vibe, healthier frequencies, the more that's going to shift every aspect of us, body, mind, spirit, again. So it really helps to open up the sexual energy and change our physical body when we're more in our power, when we're feeling healthier. Of course, that's going to affect how we want to connect with others, how we're able to connect with others, how we connect with ourselves, our sensual energy, right? If we're all like heavy and sluggish and not feeling well and ill and in dis-ease, of course we're not feeling sexual, and the sexual energy isn't flowing, right? We're not in our creativity. We're not in our passion. We're lethargic. Food is a huge piece of that. Heavy, dense foods. This is not rocket science. So, anyway, again, under the umbrella of sacred sexuality, nutrition is huge, and it's where we always start when I'm working with clients. It's the baseline, because you are what you eat. And again, it can drastically change emotions, because food really can cause emotional issues for a lot of us, especially like too much sugary stuff. Oh my gosh, you're on a roller coaster of up and down, and that really affects sexual energy and the flow of our energy flow. So but yeah, that is the baseline. It's where we always start, is with nutrition, right? And it can drastically change so much. So I won't keep repeating that. Yeah, we got going on this. So amazing, very exciting. And comments and questions below. Please like, comment, and subscribe so I can help get this out to more people. And I would just love to hear from you and to connect with you. I don't know if I said this, but check out the rest of my YouTube channel for so much more to support you on your sacred sexuality journey and your spiritual path. Visit my website, of course, for so many resources to support you on your journey, and spiritual guidance sessions, one-on-one sessions, programs, pilgrimages, community events. We have some really exciting events happening every month, so please check that out. Get on my email list to be the first to get exclusive content and to learn about all upcoming events and programs and blog posts and all sorts of stuff going on to support you in your process. So thank you so much for being here. It is an absolute pleasure and thrill to connect with you. I just love us all so much, and I'm excited for us to be, coming into our power and really starting to move from our authentic heart-based place, and instead of fear and So thanks all. I love you, and stay tuned for more. Bye. I hope you have a gorgeous day. Bye.